Hi, my name is Leon Versveld. I'm a U.S. immigration attorney, and in this video we're going to be talking about the labor certification process, also referred to as the PERM process. In the labor certification process, we will be exclusively dealing with the Department of Labor and not with immigration. The objective of a labor certification is to go test the labor market and determine whether or not your employer can find a U.S. citizen or permanent resident who's willing, able, or qualified to fulfill that position. If not, then we can utilize that labor certification to then go to immigration and apply for you for a permanent green card. But let's go into detail with regards to what the labor certification process entails. The first step would be for us to work with your employer to outline the position, the job duties, the requirement, the wage, and put all of that together in a prevailing wage request. This prevailing wage request will then be sent to the Department of Labor, who takes approximately 3 to 4 months to come back to us with an official prevailing wage determination. Once we receive that prevailing wage determination, we will then contact your employer to make sure that the wage is in order and is in line with regards to what your employer wants to pay for this position before we will move on. With the prevailing wage determination, we are then ready to start the recruitment process. For all labor certifications, each employer has to post a 10-day job notice within their company. In addition, they would need to register with a state workforce agency, where we will post the position with a state workforce agency for 30 days. Last but not least, the minimum requirement is that each labor certification requires the employer to place an ad in a Sunday paper for 2 consecutive Sundays. Now, if your position is a position that normally requires a bachelor's degree, we would need to take 3 additional steps. Additional recruitment steps available for professional positions are advertisements in job fairs, on the employer's website, on job search websites, radio, TV, local or ethnic papers, or even at the local universities. The employer is only required to take 3 additional of these recruitment steps in order to meet the regulatory criteria for the labor certification. I oftentimes have employers tell me that they have advertised this position extensively before and gone through extensive recruitment, and whether or not they can utilize that recruitment in this labor certification. Well, unfortunately, the regulatory criteria for the labor certification requires us to do very specific recruitment on very specific times. And most often, we're unable to use those previous recruitment efforts. Once the recruitment is done, we'll have a 30-day quiet time wherein the employer will receive resumes. Typically, we'll have a stack of resumes of folks who just do not qualify. For instance, the position requires that the candidate has the minimum of a bachelor's degree. The employer receives a resume wherein the candidate do not have a bachelor's degree. But then you do have those who do somewhat qualify, and we make a stack and work with the employer in going through those resumes in order to determine who we need to interview and who do not qualify for other legal reasons. If after the recruitment phase, the employer is unable to find a suitable candidate who is a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, willing, able, or qualified to fulfill the position, we will complete Form 9089 for the employer and employee to review for completeness and accuracy. This form will then be submitted electronically to the Department of Labor, who will process the labor certification. Upon submission, currently, when this video was taken, the processing times is between 4 and 6 months. It is also possible that during this process, we may receive, in the form of a letter, additional questions in an audit where the Department of Labor may have certain questions about the application that was submitted. An audit will put the application in a different time frame, and once responded, will be adjudicated according to those cases that has been audited. We will be notified by the Department of Labor in advance whether or not the application will be certified. The original certification will come by mail, and we will in turn send it to the employer and employee for signatures. This original labor certification will then be utilized to file for permanent residency for the employee. It is important to note that when we file this labor certification, that would be then deemed your priority date. The priority date is a very significant date that we will discuss in a separate video on how you can track the progress of your green card. I don't want you to miss anything, so make sure that you like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter and SoundCloud, connect with us on LinkedIn, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.